I'm Travis, and I'm still stuffed from Thanksgiving.
Yeah, not me. I kind of work on Thanksgiving,
in a comatose.
A comatose?
A comatose?
Welcome back to Better Late Than Never from Late to the Party.
We are very anxious to get into the month of December, but before we get into the month of December...
we got one more musical from Broadway that was based upon a movie on the silver screen.
So basically, there was a movie, and then they turned that movie into a Broadway play.
Yes, exactly.
There we go. That's a little bit more coherent.
More clear,
although he did fit in a Three Amigos reference, so I'm all for that. So Travis, what do you have in store for us?
This original Broadway production opened on December 15th of 2004.
Okay.
And it ran until about March 3rd of 2013, and I think they're coming out with a new rehashed version of it too soon. It won 5 Tony Awards during its run.
Okay.
And it's based on a movie that is based on a book that was written.
Okay.
So I'm going to say some names here, and you'll probably guess what it is coming up here, but it's important to give some history.
Okay.
All right.
So in 1993, theatrical producer Cameron McIntosh met with the author P.L. Traveler.
There we go.
He acquired the rights to make the stage production of her character.
What year?
1993.
1993?
Yeah, so she gave him the rights to make a theater production. Her only stipulants...
don't make it like the
has
movie.
To be only Englishmen can be in it. Only writers, no Americans can be written in it. Nobody who ever worked on the film can be involved in this. Unfortunately, she passed away in 1996.
And they totally stomped all over it.
So a few years later, in 2001...
okay. Damn, that's a little more recent.
Yeah, Cameron was approached by Disney's theatrical director, Thomas Schumacher, and he said, let's do this together. You do this together, we can give you some of the Disney songs that came from the Sherman Brothers. And so, of course, they decided to do it together, and they did.
Really?
So, yeah.
I did not, that's so
I know,
recent,
yeah,
too.
it seems like such a recent thing, but it makes sense considering, like the way that P.L. Travers, hold that book so dear to her.
Well, let me talk about the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the movie was originally released August 27th of 1964.
Okay.
The budget was $4.4 to $6 million, around that ballpark in that time. Box office hit of $102.3 million. Massive hit. Won awards left and right. Best Picture, Best Special Effects, everything. Thing is, though, as you've all seen probably the movie Mr.
Saving
Banks.
Mr. Banks.
It took Walt Disney himself 20 years to gather the rights to make this film. He loved reading the books. His daughters loved reading the books, so they just wanted to make this film. So, watch the movie Saving Mr. Banks. You'll see more of the history of how this was made. And in 2013, the film was actually selected by the United States National Film Registry for preservation because it was culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant to our culture today.
Yeah, rightfully so.
So, and more importantly, a sequel is being released here in just a few weeks. Yeah. December 18th, you guys. The biggest difference between the film and the stage production, it's completely different. Completely different. They didn't just take the movie and make a play off of it. They actually took a bunch of aspects from all the books because, Mary Poppins had more than just the one book.
Of course, yeah.
So they took all of these different things from it and made it all into one new musical, using a lot of musical scenes from the movie and new ones as well.
Right.
So, any guess on what this is?
Jurassic
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. Let's watch the trailer to Mary Poppins, 1964.
We apologize to everyone we are offending with our voice dialect.
I always do.
But Dick Van Dyke did it first.
I was gonna say we're imitating
Dick
Van Dyke.
It just hit me that we're doing a reaction to Mary Poppins.
Is that a bad thing?
No.
Mary Poppins.
I had a crush on you, Julie.
Had?
Starring
Love
the
it.
toast of Broadway's musical stage, the incomparable Julie Andrews.
For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
That bird knows
Sherry
supplement her
Poppins.
singing. Sugar Bobbins. She died. She got hit by a plane. Oh boy, I love this movie. Look at him.
And America's fabulous funny.
Those aren't his actual pants.
As you've never seen him before.
And the penguins are coming back. I do like how the ones next to him duck whenever he like kicks his leg around too. Look at that. Favorite scene in the movie for me.
Steppin' time.
Steppin' time?
Steppin' time.
Eccentric gentleman. I can tell you one thing, Winifred. I don't propose standing idly by letting that woman
Such an amazing job as Mr. Banks.
Something odd, I meant. Really odd. About the behavior of this household since that woman arrived.
Yes, dear.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes, the wondrous and magical ways of
The
Walter
magic
Disney
stepping time.
so completely and so hilariously discombobulate the family with whom she comes to stay in such delightfully amazing ways. Their lives are never again quite the same. And nor will yours be when you're touched by the magic of this magnificent new motion picture from Walt Disney. Mary Poppins. Oh, it's a
Jolly holiday with Mary.
Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you always sound precocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Acclaimed by everyone.
Walt Disney's greatest.
I love that part too. They're all just floating away.
Spoilers.
Goodbye, Mary Poppins.
Spoilers.
Don't stay away too long.
Don't worry, she'll return. Everything about that movie makes me so happy. From just the pageantry of like the settings, the cinematography, versus like the dance numbers, and of course one of the things that we are very adamant about, the mixture of special effects and practical effects all together.
I do have to say that even though this movie came out in 1964, that yeah, the graphics and stuff might look older, but they still like are, you know what I mean? Like they
It
don't.
still works today.
Right. It still looks
still looks good
it
today.
really works today. Like you can watch this and be like, oh, entranced by it, instead of watching it like, ooh, that seems out of date, you know?
And it's because they utilize the hand-drawn animation
Right.
into the live-action technology,
Which
to
is
where
something that Walt Disney was very adamant
And
about
he did
too.
it years before this movie. 30
Yeah.
years before this movie came out
course.
with the Alice comedies. He did that. So I like how he did it and portrayed it. Would you guys see this movie based upon this
Yes.
trailer?
Yes.
Back in 1964.
I
Yes.
would, yes.
100%.
4 short years later, you would see the trailer to the producers. Huge difference, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy the difference between these two, but obviously Disney was always functioning at a higher level of production
Right, he always
value.
was like he always wanted everything to be up here.
Yeah, of course. He was a perfectionist when it
Yeah.
came down to the production, and that's why, you know, it took so long for them to get this movie finally up and running.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, in a lot of certain films, you notice that the special effects do feel dated as time goes on, and I just feel like just throwing all that out the window and going with animation. It's like, well, you can't say it looks dated because it's just hand-drawn animation.
Right.
You're already locking
Well-
yourself into that, you know, special effect to where it doesn't matter how far it goes unless it's computer animation, which is a whole different thing. But when you
Right.
watch like Scooby-Doo and the Smurfs, like 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from when they came out, already that technology is dated.
Yeah.
Versus hand-drawn animation is just hand-drawn animation.
Right.
You can't improve on it. You can just make it vibrant and look good. And that's why I love that they are going back to that mentality, because that's what makes Mary Poppins timeless, especially when it comes to the cinematic world and you're doing Mary Poppins Returns. You can tap into that animation or that hand-drawn style of animation, and again you're going right back to where you were, locking yourself in time without making it feel like it looks
And it's
dated.
because you have like that precise of the detail that they do when they do the hand drawn at themselves as well. And I mean our eyes, when it comes to like CGI and special effects, that way it's kind of locked. Like you'll see something and be like, oh, that looks way outdated, whereas when you see hand drawn movies or hand-drawn cartoons, they're kind of just, the quality of the video itself might be older because it came out later.
Right.
But if they, like, even if when they, like, remaster it and all that stuff, it still looks really, really good.
I think it really comes down because CGI, they're looking to make it realistic and believable.
Right.
Well, cartoon and hand animated brings up fantasy. And
Right.
that's what we enjoyed about this movie, is the amount of fantasy that came in Mary Poppins that seemed real. Mary Poppins brought this fantasy in and made it a real world for the kids.
Now I see why P.L. Travers wanted an all British cast or all, like,
Yeah, I mean,
because she probably was like with Dick Van Dyke.
couldn't
She's like,
stand
no.
it. She hated this film. She refused to ever let one of her films ever be made again.
Yeah.
And
I mean-
it wasn't until Disney was able to actually physically buy the rights to Mary Poppins where they saying, okay, now it's time for us to make a sequel to one of the greatest films ever made.
And it's completely understandable because the way that she wrote it in her head, I mean, it's a pretty heartbreaking story where it comes from.
If you've read the book, it is so different from the movie.
And it's more of a whimsical experience when you're watching the movies too. And one of the things that's very whimsical about it, as well as the music, the song, Julie Andrews, Dick Van Dyke, just the
Sherman Brothers songs are just amazing. I love those guys. I love everything they've ever done, and
Yeah.
just this
So
was.
talented.
It's one of the
Ah.
few, and there's a few songs out there, but it's one of the few movies that certain songs, when I hear them, will transport me back.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that damn Tarzan song, Phil
Collins?
where it's like immediately you're tapping into, the heartstrings are plucking when the song's playing. And for me, it's the Feed the Birds, Tuppence a Bag, and when that song starts playing, like it's
a
just
sad
like
song.
it
Let's
starts.
go play.
No, that's the happy side. That's when the heartstrings are like
Poppins, that's a sad song.
doing a
It's-
dance like at freaking the beginning of the movie with Dick Van Dyke, the kick, and he's doing the one man band.
Yeah, I love that part too because he's kind of like doing like a synopsis for you, but you're kind of
it's a
hearing-
compilation of what's to
Yeah.
come, foreshadowing, if you will, with the music that's at the beginning of the movie. And I have listened to the score for the Broadway musical of Mary Poppins. It's completely different, and I don't like it, unfortunately. And it's not that I don't like it because it's bad. I don't like it because it's not.
It's not.
It doesn't
what
bring
you-
up those emotions that
Correct.
you're used to. Yeah.
Correct. Because for me, Step in Time, I can't wait till the Candlelighters dance that's going to take place in Mary Poppins Returns, and I think I'm going to
That's what
I
I can say because you have Step in Time so
Yeah.
up here that
Yeah.
your expectations are so high that it
Yeah,
could.
I probably
But it's
am not gonna like
Lin-Manuel
Mary Poppins
Miranda, and I
Returns.
think that it would do.
It's true. Yeah, the Lin-Manuel Miranda is the saving grace there, and the fact that we still have Richard Sherman producing the music for it, and of course, I'm open to a new experience. But you're right. This is my favorite musical of all time. When it comes to any musical other than Cannibal the Musical, which just popped in my head, and that's one that I hold dearly too. It goes Mary Poppins and Cannibal the Musical right there. So I am looking forward to the next iteration of Mary Poppins, but this is always going to be something that I will have and watch and cherish and watch anytime that I feel the birds, or every time, not feel the birds, but that'd just be weird feeling the birds. Like pretty bird, pretty bird. That's Dumb
I
and
know
Dumber.
that second reference to Dumb and Dumber.
You guys know I saw
other
Dumb and Dumber
videos.
at the drive-in.
At the
The
drive-in.
But Pretty Bird. Anyways, I love Mary Poppins. But what do you guys think of Mary Poppins? I know this was a long-winded one, but
Yeah, have you
It's worth
seen it?
it.
Would you see it based off this trailer? I mean, most of you have at least heard of Mary Poppins and the Disney's versions of Mary Poppins. Tell us about it. Comment below. Yes.
what are your favorite songs from Mary Poppins? Tell us
absolutely.
right down here. What are you most looking forward to in the next one? Look, Vanessa, she's all tired already.
I
That
know.
Thanksgiving dinner is just knocking
Still
her down
there a
with
week
things.
later.
So thank you guys
thank-
for watching
Yeah,
our
I was gonna say,
reaction.
thank
We
you.
can do it in a duet. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And what? That's a
No.
trio?
A trio.
Well, it is a musical. Thank you.
Thank you. And let us know everything you thought in the comments below. You can also like and subscribe.
Do the thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Stardust.
All the social networking gin joints, you know where they are. Kicking the party, fuel the party, keep the party going at our Patreon. Gets us where we need to go. Thank you guys so much, and as always,
Now it's time to
Wait,
say
I want to
goodbye.
stop you for a second. Let you guys remember, Christmas is coming up. So we got Christmas episodes next week.
Ah!
So I'm going to tell you, the Christmas episodes we're doing are suggested by viewers from last year's Christmas special.
Oh, dang.
So we're gonna spread this out this entire month and love Christmas the entire month. And these are episodes or movies that you guys have all recommended that we missed last year.
And then when New Year comes, we're doing that movie Happy New Year by Gary and Marshall. Hopefully not. But thank you guys so much. Oh, we should do end of days for New Year's. And as always, now it's time to say goodbye.
Bye.
This party's over.